it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you. We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you.
Hi everyone, I'm Devin and you're watching the Egan family, and today I'm going back to our roots and sharing with you a very exciting homeschool themed video. Today's video is extra exciting because it's also in collaboration with a bunch of other wonderful homeschool moms. So make sure after you finish my video, you check out the playlist in the description box. We're all going to be sharing with you how we plan for the upcoming homeschool year. So you're going to find all sorts of wonderful ideas, all sorts of different techniques, homeschooling styles in that playlist. Every single person that is involved in this collab is so supportive and wonderful, and I highly recommend not only that you watch their videos, but that you subscribe to them all. But I would especially like to point out the two people that have put together this collaboration, invited us all to be a part of it, which we are so very thankful for. And the first person that deserves all of the thanks and appreciation, and I really hope that you go support her, is Davene from Calm in the Chaos. You can find all sorts of motivational, wonderful, informational homeschool content on her channel, as well as if you hop on over to our other host of this collab, Shauna from Homegrown Homeschool. Of course, their channels and the playlist will be listed in my description box. There are other women involved as well. So like I said, not only do I think that you should watch the entire playlist, but I wholeheartedly hope that you take a minute to stop on everybody's channel, subscribe, show them some support. And if you find a new channel that you love, please let them know that you're there from my video, because I would love for them to know that we are all supporting them just as much as you guys support me. Okay, so without further ado, we're gonna hop right into the video, and I'm going to share with you 5 steps on how I prepare for our new homeschool year. Now, this video is coming from the perspective of somebody who is now thinking about entering our 3rd year of homeschooling. So obviously what I do now varies a little bit from when I was a first-time homeschooling mom. So if you want a video specifically dedicated to how I picked curriculum and everything, let me know. I could do that. But this is as somebody who is like starting to get in the groove, kind of understanding how Parker learns and how our home and homeschool can function, and the type of style that we like doing best. For reference, we are unit study homeschoolers. We follow like a unit study design where we base all of our core classes on what we're doing with our units. So that's what we found works for us. It keeps Parker most interested, but there are tons of different styles of homeschooling, and pretty much everybody in the playlist practices something a little bit different. So like I said, you're gonna find tons of tips for people who may fit your homeschooling style better, or just tips in general. So yes, like I said, if you want a video specifically on how I got started, let me know. I can do that. But I have 2 years almost under my belt at this point, so we are kind of in a groove. So the first thing that I do that makes sense for us is I look back on the past year and what's worked and what doesn't work. So for us, we do a lot for our core books and filler work. Parker really likes worksheets. I've mentioned that before, and that's not for everybody, but it is for him. So we do a lot of workbooks, and that keeps him motivated and also working independently while I have to tend to his 2 little sisters. So we really love the Shell Education 180 Days of, and then fill in the blank of whatever subject that you're looking for. So my first step is to hop onto Amazon or any other educational website that you like and start searching 180 days of, and for the upcoming grade. I cannot believe that he will be going into 3rd grade this coming school year. That is absolutely wild to me. But anyway, so I just kind of look around and I see what books that we've used in the past that we like. We really like their spelling curriculum. He's having good luck this year with writing. We like the social studies. We normally go elsewhere for math, because he likes to have a lot of different options for math. And yeah, so there's like logic and all sorts of other books that you can pick. So what I do is I start researching there and just getting a feel for what is available for us through those companies for the upcoming school year. We also, on top of the Shell Education 180 Days, we really like Evan Moore's style. We love their history pockets. I've talked about those. If you want to know more about those, I can link some videos that I've done. And also I can do any flip throughs of any of the current curriculum that we're using for 2nd grade. Some of those history pockets will transfer on to 3rd grade as well. We also really like Spectrum Math. Parker has really liked a lot. And another thing that we like to do for our unit studies is hold on, I'll grab some. We really like to use the D.K. Smithsonian encyclopedias. So, I mean, a human body book has literally, the way it's broken up, if you don't have these, they're absolutely gorgeous. Like, look at, this is the lung lining, but look at this picture. I mean, it's so intricate. So obviously at 2nd grade, we don't do everything in full detail. He's like learning, like there's like the reproductive system, the digestive system. So yeah, he's learning like basics right now, what certain organs do, where in the body they are, and what part of the system they are. But obviously as he gets older and needs to understand more and more and more about the human body, this can grow with him. So we think these are really good investment books, and they're absolutely beautiful. Like I said, I can flip through the ocean one really super fast too. So that's what we do, is we kind of look at what we have, and then we look online to see maybe if there's something that we don't have yet that is of interest. This picture is one of my favorites. I think it like needs to be framed because it's so gorgeous. And this talks about wave power too. Yeah, so we also have, just taking a peek, we have one on Super Earth, the dinosaurs, trees, leaves, flowers, and seeds. And I think we have some other ones somewhere as well. So if you want a flip through on any of those, like I said, let me know. Sorry, my chair's so squeaky. But yeah, that's what we do, is we go through and see what has worked for us and what we have on hand and start there. Now, obviously there are things that we learn every year that aren't working quite as well for us. I like the science that he's using. He's using an Evan Moore science book this year, but I feel like it's just not challenging enough for him. So that is something that I'm looking elsewhere. So obviously the first place that I start is by checking out my friend's curriculum videos on YouTube. You can search the curriculum videos. You can start with the women in this playlist. I would recommend that. They have tons of great suggestions. And so I just, I can type in my search 3rd grade science curriculum, homeschool, and I can do it that way. Or like I said, I can start by checking out some people that are trusted and well watched for me, and I'll just go through and see kind of what they do and what works for them, and that's where I'll start to build next year's curriculum. So yeah, there are tons of really great resources on YouTube, and that's where, before I even started homeschooling, I would watch homeschool content for hours and hours and hours, even though I had a child in public school. So I knew something in my heart was always calling me in this direction. So there are so many wonderful creators on YouTube, but I would start with the women in this playlist because they have some great ideas on their channels. After I've looked back on everything that we have and that is working for us this year, and I assess what necessarily isn't working for us this year and get some ideas from my YouTube friends, then I bring in my big guns. I bring in Parker, because obviously the main perk about homeschooling is that we can consult Parker and it can be a student-led education. Obviously there are core essential like strategies and topics that he needs to learn and understand, but we can mold anything that he is interested in to teach him those concepts. And I found that if he knows that he is in charge of picking something that is interesting to him, then he is so much more invested in his education. And like I said, why else are we doing this for our children if not to make sure that they are figuring out their true passions and getting the most out of their education? So after we sit down, that's when we really start to build units. We think, okay, what have you already learned that you want to expand on? What have you not gotten to learn enough about? What have you realized over the past year that is of interest to you? So I'm going to grab another resource for this. Because one thing that Parker has expressed interest in is, as of late, is nature. And obviously we've been learning about the magic and mystery of trees is one of the books that we have, the Trees, Leaves, Flowers, and Seeds from DK. But also, along with that, he has found a really big interest in gemstones and different types of rocks and fossils. And so we already have some collections starting of ways to incorporate that into 3rd grade, learning about different types of rocks. We have some diamond mines not too far from us that we can take a trip to incorporate in here, anything like that. So that's what I really like to consult him and see what he is looking to get out of the next year. We like to sit down and write out our goals and what we hope to learn and accomplish. So my final piece of actually looking for curriculum is obviously what he wants to learn, because like I said, if we're not consulting him and bringing him in, what's the whole point? This is the whole point. The whole reason that we wanted to homeschool was to give him an individualized education catered to him and really focus on his interests. So after I have a general idea of what our school year is going to look like, what our core classes are going to be, what resources we want to use for those, what new resources we want to try, and also special interests, then I start hitting up my websites officially. And what I do is I start looking on Book Outlet, which I always have a code listed for you that can get you a little discount if you're a first-time shopper. Disclaimer, it's not sponsored or anything, but it does give me some referral points to use on future book purchases. So obviously I want to be transparent about that if you do use my code, but we love Book Outlet. We've gotten a majority of our homeschool resources, like for as far as books are concerned, and from there, and we've paid a fraction of the price. They have incredible prices. Check it out if you haven't already. And also Amazon and places like that. So what I do is I start loading up my cart. And I don't purchase it right away, because the way that we like to do it is we like to hold it in the cart for a little bit and break it up over time. So we don't do one big bulk buy. We add, a $25 purchase to our regular weekly budget leading up until school. So that way it doesn't hit us all at once. Also, the benefit of doing that is that as far as Book Outlet is concerned, then sometimes I accrue some more points, so I get some things for free. Also, if you sign up for Book Outlet, you will get your own code to share with your friends and family, so you can also start to earn points, and every purchase you make earns you points for free product in the future as well. So that is another perk. But even with Amazon, we wait for sometimes they go on sale, and so then we scoop. I constantly am getting notifications about items in my cart, and so when they go on sale, we'll scoop them up then. So that way we can really stretch our budget and make it the absolute farthest that we can, and we can include as many materials as possible because we're a huge book family, and we like to have a lot of hands-on resources. So I load up my carts and I wait for the sales to hit or the points to roll in. So I'll start doing that now. For reference, we don't start school until September after Labor Day. So I have a really long time to start gathering materials. And then also I'll start going on to my favorite website, Teachers Pay Teachers. They have tons of printables, resources, book lists, any sort of games, anything that you can imagine that you could want as far as external resources. They even have like book companions, like worksheets or things like that. They have it all. And some of it you can even filter out your price. You can get so many things on there for free from amazing educators. So I always am recommending Teachers Pay Teachers. That will also be listed. That link will be in the description box. So I just start researching, and then I start making folders on my computer where I start downloading things just a little bit. Like even when I'm editing or waiting for something to export, I'll start browsing and start pulling materials and keep them in there. If we don't use them, I never end up printing them out. That's totally fine, but at least I've started the process. So then after my carts are loaded, my websites are ready to go, then really I'm pretty much at the end of my journey, except for when it comes to actually planning out our start and finish date. Now, I live in New York State, and we have some pretty strict regulations as far as time frame and what we have to report. We have a lot of reporting to do in New York State, which is what it is. We are happy to do it to continue the education at home, but it is something that you would have to do research on your state, because the things that I'm saying right now may not apply to you if you don't live in New York State or high regulations states. So we have, like I said, quite a lot of reporting to do. So I actually do have to figure out my start date, my end date, and my quarterly submission dates, and that has to be approved. So that's when I just pull out my handy dandy planners, and I look at dates, I look at things like that, and I pick a start date and end date, and then I pick the points in between that make the most sense. I don't necessarily try and align it with the regular school calendar, because we like to take breaks when it makes sense for us. And I don't even schedule in the breaks at the beginning. I just simply map out the start, the end, and then my quarterly reports in between. And after that, I just make sure that I check my state's regulations. You can do that right online by a simple Google search. I make sure that nothing has changed. I know recently with New York State, they have added a mental health component to what we have to teach and report on. So that was something that it was beneficial to know through the Google search, that they don't come right out and tell you just when you submit your paperwork. It could be denied based on not having that component available, and you would have to resubmit. So that is something to note, that they can change the regulations at any time. So just keep up to date on your state regulations. And then I, like I said, I don't plan in advance for our breaks or anything. I just do that. And then I make sure that I include all of the information that they are looking for in the paperwork that we submit. For us, like I said, it is quite a lot. We do have to go through, make sure that we are reporting on every single subject in detail. We have to submit quarterly reports. We have to do end of the year reviews or testing. Every other year, we can flip-flop between the two. So we're coming up to our first testing year in 3rd grade, so I will be interested to see how that goes. Give me any tips that you have in the comments if you have been there before. So anyway, that's what I do, is I just make sure that everything is cut and dry, ready to go for submitting the paperwork. That I wait until a little bit closer to the start of school, but obviously I want to make for us, we have a July 1st deadline to submit that paperwork. So I want to make sure that I make that deadline, and that I also want to make sure that I give myself time to complete it so it's not a rush and I can be thorough. So after that's done, then I just wait for the approval from the school district, which so far my district has been very helpful, and there hasn't been any issues, thankfully. And then we get ready mentally for our new school year. And by that, we just make sure our space is tidy and ready to go, and we have all of the materials that we're looking for, which we can also hit on a really great sale after the traditional school year starts. If you hold out a little bit, you can get all of what's left over from public school kids for 10 cents. We've gotten glue sticks and markers marked all the way down to 10 cents, and it is beautiful. So that's my little bonus budget tip. So besides just laying out the general framework of resources that we are using, we kind of like to take things as they go. I am an over planner by nature, but I have found with homeschool that just doesn't work for us. It could work for somebody else. It worked pretty well the first year, but this year, with 3 kids and all sorts of craziness popping up, we've taken some educational vacations. We got to do some hands-on learning at the Alamo in Texas, which was an amazing opportunity to be able to teach hands-on history in person. And also some illnesses and some other things that keep popping up. This year, if anything, in our homeschool has taught us to let go and go with the flow. So that is what I want to take into the next year, is to not over-plan things. My cat really wants to be in this video. To take things as they come and not Don't bite me. Okay, he's not gonna bite. To take things as they come and not over plan, and really just let school be fun and know that it's okay to let go a little bit. And as long as we're hitting everything that needs to be learned, then we're fine. So that is what this coming year is going to be about, is letting ourselves be taken away by interests and see where things go. So is, like I said, as far as actually micromanaging planning, like I tried to do our first year, that is just not practical or helpful anymore. So that is the extent of how we plan. Otherwise, we just go week by week. This cat, we see what we accomplished and what we want to get done in the coming weeks. And then we just make sure that we are hitting our targets as they come and that it has not been a problem yet. Right, Benny? So if you have any tips or tricks on how you plan for the upcoming school year, I would love any suggestions that you have. Like I said, this is only my second full year. I'm going into my third year of planning. So obviously I still have a lot to learn, and I am accepting of the fact, even though I hate change, that things can change and evolve as time goes on with his education and with when the girls are creeping up on the age where they are ready to start. So I'm always willing to listen and learn from people who have been doing it longer or maybe have figured out a more effective way. I will be watching all of the videos in the playlist. Like I said, please don't forget to check out all of those videos linked in the description box. Thank you again to Davene and Shauna for putting on this collab. It has been absolutely wonderful to work with all of you beautiful ladies, and I am so thankful to be a part of this little community. Also, if you are here from any of their videos, thank you so much for being here. On this channel, I share tons of homeschool content, also cleaning, home life, motherhood, organization, and the occasional vlogs. So if you've enjoyed this and you want to see more, we would love to invite you to subscribe and become a member of our little internet family. If you're coming back again as a returning subscriber, thank you. You know how much that we love all of the support that you give and love having you here. So with all of that being said, thank you so much for being here. We will see you next time. Bye. Or as Parker would say, peace.